Captain Krax Bloodtide lounged in his command chair, his three-fingered hand lazily swiping through potential targets on the holographic display. The soft blue glow illuminated his scarred, gray-scaled face as he yawned, displaying rows of razor-sharp teeth that had earned him fear across 7 star systems. But today he was bored out of his mind. "Computer," he growled, his voice carrying the gravel of someone who'd inhaled too much plasma smoke over the years. "Find me something worth my time, something profitable." The ship's AI designation Hunt R responded in its annoyingly chipper voice. "Scanning nearby trade routes, Captain." Oh, I believe I found something quite interesting." Krax straightened in his chair. Hunt R's algorithms had earned them millions in credits over the years. "Well, don't keep me waiting, you overpriced calculator." Terran cargo vessel detected, designation St. Marie, minimal weapons signatures, crew complement appears to be under 20. Cargo manifest indicates agricultural equipment. A predatory grin spread across Krax's face as he pressed the ship-wide comm button. "Bridge crew to stations. Looks like we've got ourselves an easy mark." The bridge came alive as his crew filed in. First Officer Nick Stormweaver, her bioluminescent spots pulsing with excitement, took her station at Tactical. The towering bulk of Security Chief Krax thundered to his post, his 4 arms efficiently checking various displays. Navigator Pex slithered into her seat, her serpentine body coiling around the specialized pilot's chair as her forked tongue tasted the recycled air. "This better be good," Captain Krax rumbled. "Last week's raid barely covered our fuel costs." "Oh, you're going to love this one," Krax chuckled. "Remember that Centaurian luxury yacht last month? The one that earned us enough to upgrade our plasma cannons? This should be even easier. Just a human farming ship, probably crewed by civilians who've never seen real combat." Nix's spots flickered uncertainly. "Humans? Are you sure that's wise, Captain? There are stories." "Stories?" Krax scoffed, spinning his chair to face her. "You mean those ridiculous tales about their Marines? Please. I've been raiding ships for 30 cycles. These humans have been in space for what? Barely 2. They're primitive newcomers who got lucky with some borrowed tech. This St. Marie is exactly the kind of target we love: valuable cargo. The minimal security, and best of all, insured. No one gets hurt, we get paid, and some corporation files a claim. Perfect." The bridge crew shared knowing looks. Their captain's confidence had never steered them wrong before. They'd hit everything from Regellian pleasure cruisers to Andromeda Federation supply lines. This would be just another successful raid to add to their impressive record. If only they'd paid more attention to those stories about human Marines. The tactical hologram bathed the briefing room in an eerie green glow as Captain Krax addressed his boarding team. The St. Marie schematics rotated slowly above the table, looking deliciously vulnerable from every angle. "Look at this beauty," Krax purred, his claws tapping through different ship sections. "Standard human merchant-class vessel. Their cargo holds are practically begging to be emptied. Chief Krax, run through our loadout." The massive security chief activated his personal display, all 4 arms moving in perfect coordination. "We're running top-of-the-line gear, courtesy of our last few raids. Phase shift boarding cutters that'll slice through their hull like butter. Neural disruptors tuned specifically to human biology, one shot. And they'll be taking a nice nap. And my personal favorite." He pulled out what looked like a simple metal sphere. "Latest model quantum mesh generators. Throws up a field that stops any projectile moving faster than a brisk walk. Their primitive ballistic weapons won't even reach us." Perfect. Krax clapped his hands together. "See, this is why we're the best in the business. While other pirates are still using basic pulse rifles, we're out here with tech that would make military commanders drool." Nix cleared her throat, her bioluminescent spots pulsing in a pattern that signaled anxiety. "Captain, if I may, I've been studying human incident reports. 3 weeks ago, the pirate crew of the Stellar Blade disappeared after attempting to raid a human transport. Just vanished, ship and all. Probably got cocky and jumped into a black hole." Navigator Pex suggested, her forked tongue flicking out in amusement. "You know how the Blade's captain was with his navigation." "That's not all," Nix continued, pulling up more reports. "The notorious Blood Pack, the Void Runners, even the legendary crew of the Silent Death, all went dark after targeting human ships in the past month. Krax waved a dismissive hand. Corporate propaganda, obviously. The shipping companies are trying to scare off raiders with ghost stories. Next you'll tell me you believe in the human space force. He made exaggerated air quotes with his claws. But Captain. Enough. Krax's tail slapped against his chair. We have top-tier weapons, shielding that could stop a small cruiser, and the most experienced crew in the sector. What do they have? Primitive projectile weapons and what was it? Agricultural equipment. The tactical display shifted to show their approach vector. Krax's voice took on a theatrical tone. We'll knock out their communications, breach the hull here and here. He pointed to 2 locations, deploy the neural disruptors, and be done before their insurance company even knows they've been hit. The most dangerous thing we'll face is paperwork. The crew chuckled, tension easing. Only Nyx remained concerned, her spots now barely glowing, and the rumors about their Marines. Please. Krax rolled all 3 of his eyes. I looked up these Marines while you were all worrying. Some kind of ancient warrior tradition from when they still fought on their single pathetic planet. They named them after an ocean predator because they couldn't decide if they were a navy or an army. How threatening could they be? They probably don't even have proper genetic enhancements. The meeting continued with detailed role assignments and timing coordination. They'd done this so many times it was practically choreographed. In 3 hours they'd be rich. In 6 hours they'd be celebrating at their favorite space station bar. 20 minutes into the actual raid, they'd be desperately wishing they'd listened to Nyx. But for now, they were the predators, the humans were their prey, and nothing could possibly go wrong. After all, what could a bunch of unmodified primates do against the most advanced pirate crew in the sector? They were about to find out. The Saint Marie grew larger in their view screen as the pirate vessel approached from the vessel's blind spot. Krax watched with practiced satisfaction as his crew executed their standard procedure with precision. Their ship's stealth field hummed quietly, masking their approach from any conventional sensors. Weapons charged and ready, reported Nyx, her spots now a professional steady blue. Neural disruptors at full capacity. Boarding cutters prepped, Chief Krax added, his massive frame already suited up in their top-of-the-line combat armor. Team standing by in the airlock. Krax bared his teeth in what passed for a smile among his species. Send the standard warning. Let's see them panic. Navigator Pex transmitted their carefully crafted message, designed to cause maximum fear with minimum resistance. Warning sent. Awaiting their surrender response. Seconds ticked by. Then minutes. Krax frowned. Are you sure they received it? Confirmed reception. Pex's tongue flicked nervously. They're just not responding. No distress calls either, Nyx added. No emergency beacons. Nothing. Krax barked. They're paralyzed with fear. This is going even better than expected. Chief, take your team in. Show these humans how real pirates operate. The boarding team moved into position. 6 of the crew's finest warriors, each wearing armor worth more than most ships, carrying weapons that could subjugate a small colony. Their magnetic boots clanked against the deck as they entered the airlock. Beginning docking procedure, Pex announced. Matching rotation and weight. Captain, something's odd. What now? They're stabilizers. They're too steady. A cargo ship this size should have minor variances, but it's almost like. Like what? Like military-grade compensators, she finished quietly. Krax opened his mouth to dismiss her concerns when the first real warning sign appeared. The boarding cutters, designed to slice through any known hull material, sparked and sputtered against the Saint Marie's exterior. Having some trouble here, Captain Krax reported, uncertainty creeping into his usually confident voice. Hulls reinforced with something we've never seen before. Impossible, Krax snapped. Your cutters can breach Drachnid battle plate. Just boost the power and... Sir Nyx's spots flashed crimson. I'm detecting power fluctuations inside their ship. They're shutting down. The Saint Marie's running lights dimmed one by one. The ship hung in space, dark and silent as a tomb. Krax forced a laugh. They're surrendering, cutting power to show they won't resist. Classic civilian move. Inside the airlock, Krax wasn't so sure. Team, full defensive formation. Something doesn't feel right. His boarding party grouped up, weapons charged and ready. The cutters finally breached the hull, creating an opening barely large enough to enter single file. Emergency force fields contained the atmosphere on both sides. Entering now, Krax reported. No response from internal sensors. Visibility limited to armor lights. The team moved through the breach one by one. Their helmet lights cut through the darkness, revealing an empty corridor. No scared crew members, no signs of life, just shadows and silence. Clear left, clear right. Moving to first junction. Each step echoed ominously through the vessel. The boarding team's confidence wavered with every empty compartment they passed. Captain Krax whispered, though he couldn't explain why he felt the need to lower his voice. "Where is everyone?" Back on the bridge, Krax gripped his command chair tightly enough to leave claw marks. "Spread out and find them. They have to be here somewhere." That's when they heard it. A sound that made their blood run cold. Somewhere in the darkness ahead, a human voice spoke 5 simple words. "The weapons free. Light them up." Marines. The corridor exploded into light and sound. Hidden panels slid away, revealing Marines in matte black combat armor, who seemed to materialize from the very walls. Their movements were precise, practiced, inevitable. "Quantum mesh up," Krax bellowed, activating their most advanced defensive technology. The shimming field spread around the boarding team, designed to stop any projectile dead in its tracks. The Marines didn't fire a single bullet. Instead, strange devices clattered across the deck, spinning to life with a high-pitched whine. The quantum mesh flickered and died. Impossible. Krax's forearms scrambled to restart the field generator. "They can't have mesh countermeasures. We just got these." Commander Jack Stone's voice carried through the darkness, calm as an executioner. "Thanks for the field test, boys. RD's been wanting to try those disruptors for weeks." Neural disruptors blazed as the pirates opened fire, sending waves of energy that should have dropped any human instantly. The Marines walked through the barrage like it was a light rain. Cute Stone's helmet speakers added a metallic edge to his amusement. Those frequency patterns might have worked great on our nervous systems. Last year's models anyway. Sergeant Chen, show them what real neural disruption looks like. A female Marine stepped forward, hefting what looked like a crude metal tube. It pulsed once. Every pirate's advanced combat armor locked up, their neural interfaces scrambled by frequencies they'd never imagined possible. Krax managed to stay standing through sheer mass, his forearms trembling as he tried to fight the paralysis. Fall back. Back to the breach. They never made it. Marines flowed around them like water, their movements a perfect dance of violence. Hand-to-hand combat was supposed to be the pirates' specialty. Their enhanced strength, extra limbs, and genetic modifications made them superior to humans in every way. Or so they'd thought. Sergeant Chen caught one of Krax's flailing arms and used his own momentum to send the massive alien sprawling. Another Marine, his armor nameplate read Rodriguez, literally disarmed a pirate who'd drawn a plasma blade, the movement so fast it seemed to blur. Captain Krax screamed into his comm as a Marine half his size put him in a joint lock that somehow immobilized all 4 arms at once. "They're not normal humans. They're not." His transmission cut off as his neural implants finally overloaded, sending him into unconsciousness. Back on the pirate vessel, Krax watched in horror as his elite boarding team was systematically dismantled. These humans moved like hunting machines, their tactics displaying a level of coordination he'd only seen in linked mind combat units. "Get them out of there," he ordered. "Emergency recall." "Recall signals aren't working," Nix reported, her spots pure white with fear. "They're being blocked by something's approaching our airlock." The camera feed showed 2 Marines crossing the breach, moving with the same terrifying efficiency. Their armor didn't glow or shimmer like the pirates' advanced suits. It didn't need to. Every step, every movement spoke of absolute confidence, of predators who knew they were at the top of the food chain. "Seal the airlock," Krax shrieked. "Lock down all bulkheads." Navigator Pex's fingers flew across her controls. Bulkheads responding, but no. They're cycling open. Our codes are being overridden. "That's impossible. Our encryption is outdated." A new voice cut through their comms. Lieutenant Sarah Walsh's tone carried the same casual confidence as someone discussing the weather. "We cracked it months ago. Been listening to your tactical session the whole time." Thanks for the laugh, by the way. The bit about us not having genetic enhancements? Classic. The bridge crew watched, paralyzed, as their security systems turned against them. Doors sealed and unsealed in patterns that herded the remaining pirates into groups. Defense turrets rotated uselessly. Even their advanced AI, Hunt R, fell silent. This is just embarrassing. Stone's voice joined the channel. 4 boarding actions this month, and you pirates still haven't figured it out. Those stories about missing raiders weren't propaganda. They were warnings. Through the security feeds, Krax watched Marines systematically securing his ship. Their movements were smoothly coordinated, as if they'd practiced taking this exact vessel dozens of times. With a sinking feeling in all 3 of his stomachs, he realized they probably had. See, here's the thing about humans, Walsh continued, her Marines now visible through the bridge windows, approaching from multiple directions. We look at something like your neural disruptors, and we don't just defend against them. We improve them. Your quantum mesh? Studied, countered, and enhanced. Every single piece of technology you thought made you superior? We've spent months taking it apart and putting it back together better. The bridge doors hissed open. Marines flowed in like shadows given form, their weapons covering every angle. Commander Stone stepped forward, his helmet retracting to reveal a smile that reminded Krax of his own predatory grin. Just better. Welcome, Stone said cheerfully, to the newest training program of the United Earth Marine Corps. We really must thank you. It's so hard to find good practice targets these days. Krax slammed his emergency console controls, triggering the ship's last resort defense systems. Release the combat drones. All of them. Maintenance hatches throughout the pirate vessel burst open, disgorging dozens of spider-like combat machines. Each drone cost more than most starfighters, armed with enough firepower to level a small outpost. They skittered across walls and ceilings, converging on the Marines' positions. Lieutenant Walsh's voice crackled through the comms. Drone swarm deployed. Turner, you're up. A Marine stepped forward, pulling what looked like a simple data pad from his armor. He tapped it twice. Every single drone froze mid-step. Thanks for the update to their targeting systems last week, Turner said casually. Those back doors you left were really helpful. What Krax's scales paled. But we just bought those from the Regellian Arms Consortium. Right, Stone smiled. Lovely folks. Very cooperative once we explained the benefits of partnership. Been helping us track pirate activity for months. The drones turned around, their weapons now targeting their former masters. Across the ship, Marines moved with practiced efficiency, securing compartments and gathering prisoners. Their tactics displayed decades of warfare distilled into perfect economy of motion. Nix made a break for the auxiliary bridge, hoping to trigger their automated defense turrets manually. She made it 3 steps before a Marine appeared as if from nowhere, moving like liquid shadow. No wasted motion, no hesitation. Just the clean efficiency of an apex predator. Good try, Sergeant Chen said, securing Nix's hands with smart cuffs that adjusted perfectly to alien anatomy. But we've had your ship's full schematics for weeks, including all the secret passages. Through the ship's internal cameras, Krax watched his crew being systematically rounded up. The Marines moved in perfect synchronization, covering angles he hadn't even known existed. When a handful of pirates tried making a stand in the engine room, the Marines didn't even break stride. Flashbangs called out Rodriguez. 3, 2. The pirates had top-of-the-line visual filters. The Marines had better ones. You know what the fun part is? Stone asked, watching Krax's expression. This is just the training squad. The rookies, still learning the ropes. Navigator Pex made one final, desperate attempt. She activated their ship's automated retreat protocols, designed to break away from the St. Marie and jump to hyperspace. The ship didn't move. About that, Walsh's voice carried a hint of professional pride. While you were all focused on our boarding action, our tech team rewrote your navigation computers. Quite the learning experience for them. Thanks for that. Disabled ships arriving to collect prisoners, Turner reported. Looks like hay. The Stellar Blade, the Void Runners, and is that the Silent Death? Nice restoration work. Can't let good ships go to waste, Stone shrugged. Plus, excellent training for our engineering teams. Speaking of which, a new hologram appeared above the bridge controls. It showed the St. Marie's true form, its innocent cargo vessel exterior now retracting to reveal state-of-the-art weapons systems and armor plating that made the pirates' technology look like children's toys. "Beautiful, isn't she?" Stone gestured proudly. "Newest class of Marine Corps training vessel. Designed specifically to attract overconfident pirates. Been working perfectly so far." Krax slumped in his command chair, finally understanding. They hadn't sprung a trap. They'd walked into a classroom. "Don't feel too bad," Walsh added. "Your tactics would have worked great against last year's Marines. Really, you're helping us stay ahead of the curve. Now, who's ready for a tour of their new temporary home? We've got cells with your names on them, right next to your fellow raiders. Captain Krax Bloodtide, terror of 7 star systems, feared pirate lord of the Outer Rim, pulled out his final, desperate card. With trembling claws, he activated the quantum core destabilizer, a doomsday device that could tear both ships apart at the atomic level. "Stay back," he snarled. "One more step and I'll activate it." We all go boom. Commander Stone glanced at Lieutenant Walsh. "Should we tell him?" "Might as well," Walsh shrugged. "He did provide excellent training data." Stone turned back to Krax. "Remember that Centurion pleasure yacht you raided last month? The one with the quantum core specs in its database?" Krax's third heart skipped a beat. "Yes," Stone continued. "That was us too. Been feeding you modified schematics for months. Your destabilizer? It's about as dangerous as a desk fan." "No," Krax whispered. No, we tested it. On the unmanned drone we let you capture? The one that conveniently drifted into your patrol route," Turner chuckled. "Turns out, if you want to convince pirates their superweapon works, all you need is some pretty lights and a small antimatter charge." Krax pressed the activator anyway. The device hummed, glowed, and produced a small holographic display that read, "Thanks for participating in UNMC tactical training exercises. Rate your experience." The mighty pirate captain slid to his knees, all 3 eyes wide with horrified understanding. Every raid, every piece of advanced tech, every seemingly easy target, all of it had been orchestrated. They weren't hunters who had stumbled into a trap. They were lab rats who had followed a trail of cheese right into a maze. "The neural disruptors?" he asked weakly. "Designed to our specifications," Chen answered. "The quantum mesh." "We needed to test our countermeasures," Rodriguez said. "The combat drones." "Excellent programming practice for our tech division," Turner nodded. Stone knelt down to Krax's level, his expression almost sympathetic. "You know what your biggest mistake was? Believing that humans were simple because we're young. Truth is, we spent thousands of years fighting ourselves. When we reached the stars, we didn't need to develop new tactics. We just needed to adapt the ones we already had." Krax looked around his bridge, now fully under Marine control. His crew, the finest pirates in known space, were being efficiently processed and transported to holding cells. His mighty vessel, once the terror of shipping lanes, was being catalogued as a training prop. "But we had every advantage," he mumbled. "No," Walsh corrected him. "You had equipment. We had Marines." From his cell aboard the converted Stellar Blade, Krax watched the Saint Marie reveal its true form. The harmless cargo vessel facade peeled away like a snake shedding its skin, displaying the sleek lines of a state-of-the-art Marine Corps training ship. The gathered pirate crews, now guests of the United Earth government, whispered among themselves as realization set in. Next door, he could hear First Officer Nix talking to her cellmate, a member of the notorious Blood Pack. "I told him we should have listened to the stories." "We all should have the Blood Pack," pirate responded. "Did you know they call this program Fish?" "Why fish?" "First interstellar space hunters. Turns out humans have a sense of humor. They're training their Marines to hunt pirates the same way they used to hunt sharks in their oceans." Krax pressed his scaled forehead against the transparent cell wall, watching Marines efficiently process captured ships and crews. Their movements still carried that terrible precision, that practiced grace that spoke of centuries of warfare distilled into pure efficiency. Commander Stone passed by, pausing at Krax's cell. "Thanks again for the assistance. The rookies learned a lot today." "One question," Krax said quietly. "Those stories about missing pirate crews. All here," Stone gestured to the cells. "Safe and sound, learning valuable lessons about attacking human ships." As the commander walked away, Krax finally understood the truth. Humans hadn't needed to spread warnings about their Marines. They had simply let pirates like him do it for them, one failed raid at a time.